Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss Engineering Mechanics Chapter 2, that is Composition and Resolution of Forces. So what do you mean by a force? Force is some agency which destroys or creates motion. Okay, so let's read the definition of force. It is defined as an agent which produces or tend to produce, destroys or tend to destroy motion. Example of that is a horse applying pull on cart and setting it in motion. So the cart was actually in rest. The horse applies a force and set that in motion. So and there is another term, that is system of forces. System of forces means that there are many forces acting on a body. Okay, so when two or more forces act on a body, then they are said to form a system of force. There are many systems of force, of which seven are important to us. So the first one is coplanar forces. Coplanar force means the forces lies in a same plane. So the line of action of forces are on same plane. That is coplanar force. Collinear means the line of action are on same line, like this. Coplanar means on same plane. If this board is a plane, that forces F1, F2, etc., that lie on the same plane. Collinear means they act in a same line. Concurrent means they are meeting at one point. If this is a point like this, the forces will be meeting on that point. Coplanar concurrent means that it is lying. Coplanar means on same plane. Concurrent means acting at a meeting at a point. So in this plane, they meet in a particular point like this. That is coplanar concurrent. Then coplanar non-concurrent. It lie on a same plane, but they are not concurrent. That is, they does not meet at one point like this. Like this. See, this action, this is not, this force is not meeting at this point. That is, they are not meeting at one point. That is coplanar non-concurrent force. Okay, then non-coplanar concurrent force means non-coplanar means they are not on same plane, and concurrent but they are meeting. Like if this is a point and this is a force, and perpendicular to this, in the perpendicular to the axis of both, there is a force acting that is meeting at this point. That is non-coplanar concurrent force. Then non-coplanar non-concurrent force, they are not acting on same plane and they are not concurrent also. Okay, that are not meeting at one point also. That is non-coplanar non-concurrent forces. Then what do you mean by a resultant force? Resultant force means, as the name says, it is a resultant of many forces. Suppose there are many forces P, Q, R, etc., and if the effect of all this sum up to have a resultant R, sorry, not R, F, okay, so that the net effect of this PQR is summed up there, then that resultant F, that is the a single force which is having net effect of this, that is called resultant force. If a number of force PQR etc. are acting simultaneously on a particle means that it is a body of infinitesimally small volume, that is very small volume, then that is called a particle. Okay, so if a number of forces PQ are acting simultaneously on a particle, then it is possible to find out a single force which could replace them, which could produce the same effect as that produced by all the given forces. The single force is called the resultant force, and the given force R, etc., are called the component force. So PQR, etc., sum up to give a net force that is having the effect of this total PQR summed up. That is called resultant, and this individual PQR, etc., these forces are called component force. So in order to find resultant force, there are two methods, that is analytical method and graphical method. Graphical method include polygonal and all, which we have discussed in the previous lecture. So it is drawing the forces to the scale and finding out the resultant. That we are not discussing here, that is not much important. So analytical method, which is parallelogram law of forces and method of resolution, that portion we are discussing here. So parallelogram law of forces is an important topic. If you represent F1 and F2 as two forces, and we have to find the resultant of this, if you draw the F1 and F2 as parallelogram sides, then the diagonal, that is having passing through the intersection of F1 and F2, that will give the resultant of F1 and F2. So let us read the law. If two forces acting simultaneously on a particle be represented in magnitude and direction by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram, their resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by the diagonal of the parallelogram which passes through the point of intersection. So a resultant R is given by root of f of 1 square plus f of 2 square plus 2f1 f2 cos theta. Theta is the angle between f1 and f2, and alpha is the angle between resultant and any of the forces F1 or F2. If suppose this R and F1, this include diagram I'm drawing here. So R F1, if I'm taking alpha as the angle between R and F1, then we extend this, we know that this will be also equal to F2, that is just side of a parallelogram, that is parallel side of this F2. So it will be having same magnitude and direction of F2. So if we represent this as F2, we know that F1 when it is extended, it means this F2 at theta. That is the angle between F1 and F2 is theta. So here we represent theta. So we know that F2 cos theta will be equal to this x component and F2 sin theta will be equal to this component. So tan alpha will be equal to opposite by adjacent. That is opposite is F2 sin theta and adjacent is F1 plus F2 cos theta. So tan alpha becomes F2 sin theta by F1 plus F2 cos theta. This portion R and tan alpha are important. Okay. So let's do a question on this. This is a very simple question. Two forces of 100 Newton and 150 Newton are acting simultaneously at a point. Find the resultant of these two forces if the angle between them is 45 degree. So two forces F1 and F2 are given. The angle between them is 45 degree. That is theta is equal to 45 degree. So directly substituting, you will have resultant is equal to root of f of 1 square plus f of 2 square plus 2f1 f2 cos theta. Theta is 45 degree. So the answer will be 232 Newton. Then the next one is resolution of a force. So from the resultant we can resolve the forces, or from many forces we can resolve the forces into directions, that is x and y direction, etc. So that is resolution of a force. The process of splitting up of a given force into a number of components without changing its effect on the body is called resolution of a force. So let's do a question based on it. A machine component 1.5 meter long and weight 100 Newton is supported by two ropes AB and CD. Calculate tension T1 and T2 in the rope AB and CD. See here, this is the AB, this is the CD. Since it's a rope, it is under tension T1 and T2. And here, this I simplify and draw here. I have simplified and drawn it here. See, the weight is always acting downward. So we are giving 1000 Newton downward. And T1 is represented in this color and T2 represented in this color. The angle here is 60 degree, which I have drawn here. And here it is 45 degree, which I have drawn here. So we can draw simplify this and put it in axis. See, this is the x and y axis. See, the T1 component in pink color, I have represented its component in pink color itself. That is T1 cos 60 and T1 sin 60. And T2, which is in blue color, I have drawn it in blue color as components T2 sin 45 and T2 cos 45. See that in the if it is in this axis between whichever axis I have drawn it in the same place only. That is if T2 is here, I have drawn it in this side and this side. Okay. So similarly T1 in this side and this side. And 1000 which is acting downward, and I have given it here. Okay. So total summation of forces in x direction equal to 0 and in y direction is equal to 0 because the body is in equilibrium. So we will have T1 cos 60 is equal to T2 cos 45. That is the forces here is equal to forces here, and forces here is equal to forces here. So like that I am doing. So T1 cos 60 is equal to T2 cos 45. From that we get T1 is equal to root 2 T2. Similarly, total sum of forces in y direction is equal to 0. That is T1 sin 60 plus T2 sin 45 is equal to 1000. So substituting this T1 value here, you will have the value of T2 as 518.1 Newton, and that T1 is equal to root 2 T2. So substituting this value in this, you will have T1 is equal to 732.6 Newton. Okay. So then there is method of resolution. If there are many forces F1, F2, etc. Like that, then we can split that into x direction and y direction. That is, if F1, F2, F3, etc. are the forces, then f of x1 represent the force f of f1 in the x direction. Like that, you are splitting all the forces in components of x and y. Then the total f of x will be f of x1 plus f of x2 plus etc. And total f of y will be f of y1 plus f of y2 plus etc. And the resultant will be root of f of x square plus f of y square. See, like this, f of x will be total summation of forces in x direction, and f of y will be total summation of forces in y direction. So then the resultant R will be root of f of x square plus root of f of x square plus f of y square. That 2 f1 f2 cos theta, theta will be 90 degree. That is, angle between fy and fx is 90 degree because they are in the on the axis. So that will be 0. That is why it is only root of f of x square plus f of y square. And resultant is making an angle of alpha with f of x. So tan alpha will be opposite by adjacent. That is f of y by f of x, or summation of vertical force by summation of horizontal force. Then we'll do a question now. This is a very basic level question. If you do this, you can solve all the other questions. Okay. The following forces act at a point 20 Newton inclined 30 degree towards north of east. So to the north of east, that is 30 degree. So we have represented 20 Newton here. 25 Newton towards north, that is this one. And 30 Newton towards northwest. So northwest means 45 degree here. Then 35 Newton inclined at 40 degree towards south of west. South, from the west, it is towards the south of west. So 40 degree here, 35 Newton value here. So we are find the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. See, we are drawing the axis as done in the previous question, and we are splitting the components. 20 here, that in this axis will become 20 cos 30, and in this axis it will be 20 sin 30, and 25 Newton here is here already, which I have put here. Then 30, it will be 30 sin 45 here, and 30 cos 45 here. And for 35 Newton will be 35 cos 40 here, and 35 sin 40 here. So we will have total summation of f of x is equal to, that is, I'm taking this direction, east direction, as positive. I can take westward direction also as positive, but I'm taking this convention. So this is positive. So 20 cos 30 minus this 30 cos 45 minus 35 cos 40. The answer will be minus 30.7 Newton. Similarly, total sum of f of y forces. I'm taking upward north direction as positive. So this thing will be positive. 25 plus 30 sine 45 plus 20 sine 30 minus this one south direction minus 35 sine 40. So the answer will be 33.7 Newton. See, here I am drawing the resultant figure. That is, here minus 30.7 Newton is there. This is our opposite direction. Here, see here we have taken east direction as positive, but this is negative, means that if actually the total summation of x forces will be in west direction. So I am representing it like this. And 33.7 Newton is positive, means the direction we have taken is correct. That is, upward it is 33.7 Newton. And here resultant we are representing here, that is equal to 45.6 Newton. So resultant is equal to root of this value. So we will get this value 45.6. And alpha is equal to tan inverse of f of y by f of x. F of y is 33.7, f of x is 30.7. So the angle is 47.7, which we have represented here. Okay, so that is done. This is a basic level question. Do study this portion. Thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, do subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.